Oh, that's right. Okay, it's window. Or no, sorry, it's right.
Yeah, it was that year. Yeah, the Nat was that Nat year. Yeah, that was.
That's really
Like how it gets.
University, I was gonna say, cast match, figure out what's the socket thing. It's already come.
I feel like the rhythm.
Similar? Is that what this is, Jose? Maybe the back helps a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, say what it is. I don't believe you that you know.
Yes.
No, it's not a good word. It's Zeus from Gravity Falls. Oh my god, you guys suck. You haven't seen Gravity Falls?
I have
never had
Terrible, terrible people you are.
Okay. Okay.
You and I have a generation. That is insane. I have, but recently, I think 2 years ago, I guess I see. Doing that this time. Tomorrow.
What's up? Yep. Rest in peace.
If they get
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back to another week of EECS 498 Game Engine Architecture, and congratulations on your actually fantastic exam results. So the average, did I tell you what the average was? Can you see what the average was?
yeah.
It is 87 out of 100, okay? Very good, very good. Just, I think I said 89 was the average last year, but that's actually not true. It was the median last year, okay? And I haven't calculated the median yet for this year. I expect it to be a little bit higher. And so you all did a fantastic job, a very good job. And if that one Linux makefile question wasn't in there, it would have been much higher overall. Yeah, that was the bad question this time. So, yeah, no one knows how to make a makefile. Anyway, congratulations as well to everyone who's stuck on the autograder queue right now, because the autograders are officially off. That isn't to say you're stuck on it. You can get graded, but at the very bottom, instead of getting a final Canvas grade, you'll get a nice little thanks for playing image, which is really fun. I mean, it's the same image that you got at the very end of the exam, but this time it's in full color, and it looks a lot nicer, not being in the poorly printed kind of black and white from the Xerox machine. So anyway, so there are some questions asked on the Discord server. Will the autograders stay up? Will they tell you if you're right or not? The answer is yes. They should still tell you how correct your program is. They'll still go through the test cases. Will they stay running? I don't know. I'm just going to let them cruise, and when they crash, and they go down for good. So we'll see I think last year the auto graders made it about a month after the semester ended before the last one went down. Now the Linux one is going down tonight guaranteed because I'm not paying for that anymore. That is an expensive auto grader. The other ones are not expensive. They just kind of burn electricity for U of M. So you'd have to ask facilities if they are expensive. I don't think they are. Okay, so what are we doing the next 2 weeks? Well, the next 2 weeks are actually going to be, I think, a pretty good time, okay? If you are super busy, you've got other exams, and you're just, you're burnt out on this project, well, I've got good news for you. The next 2 weeks have pretty low requirements, okay, in terms of time. We do want you to put in a nice, hearty effort into these final 3 assignments, okay? Your custom milestone, your custom feature milestone, your final custom feature, and then the postmortem. But as far as what you need to do and the total amount of time you need to put in, it's not comparable, I think, even to homework 9, okay? And so things should slow down significantly for you, and you can enjoy and kind of chillax, okay? However, if you are really loving your engine, you're ready to break free from this nasty auto grader, it's always giving you, the zeros, okay, and taking away points. Well, the good news now is that you don't have to care about all 3 platforms anymore. You don't have to care about an assignment spec anymore. You get to decide what you're going to do with this cool new piece of software you've spent, 3-4 months working on. Okay, it's a very powerful feeling, and we're going to walk through some of the possibilities you might start with today. Today, our main objective is going to be to go through this next week of yours. What is this custom feature milestone assignment, and what kind of custom features might you be thinking about, okay? I just went through all of last year's engines, and I kind of added a bunch of them in, so we have some examples to show you as well, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at our game engine of the day. Might be interesting to some of you. Has anyone played Dungeons and Dragons? Okay. Well, I might need your help because I've never played it. Okay. However, my understanding of it is that it's basically kind of a stock set of rules for holding kind of an adventure game. Kind of a narrative adventure game, and you can customize it, okay? These rules are not encoded into digital circuits or logic or whatever. They are simply rules that you read and that you agree with, or maybe you alter them, okay? But in any case, it was initially created in 1974, created by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, now Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro. They're kind of famous for apparently kind of establishing the RPG genre as this kind of D&D style of combat and progression and narrative started to get implemented into computer games. Has anyone heard of a game series called Baldur's Gate? Okay. That kind of got its start in taking inspiration from D&D. And have any of you heard, and this is actually, I think, probably smaller franchise these days, a little bit more obscure. Have you ever heard of Final Fantasy? Right? So the initial Final Fantasy games also took pretty heavily from D&D and its basic rules, and then started to evolve those over time. Yes, Jose?
Have you heard of Wizardry or Ultima?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say those are closer to related to D&D.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, I don't play much D&D, and I don't play too many of those games either. I should play Baldur's Gate. I remember when I was very young, one of my earlier gaming memories was launching into a game called Neverwinter Nights, or Neverwinter Night. Wait, is it Neverwinter Nights or Nights? Okay. And just the freedom provided to you. Like, you can walk up to anyone and just start a fight, like with the mayor of the town, I'm pretty sure. And that goes pretty badly for you pretty quickly. But you have just so much freedom to explore those games and those universes. It's very impressive stuff. And open-endedness, right, really is maybe D&D's defining feature from what I hear. Okay, it is highly customizable, and who you put in charge of running the game, who you decide is going to be your CPU for the day, the dungeon master, is going to have a dramatic impact on how the story plays out and the quality of your experience. Okay, it's played around a tabletop. Okay, it's a tabletop RPG. Players create a character. They choose their stats. They choose a background, for instance, right? One especially hard-working player in the game will become what's called the Dungeon Master, which is basically the narrator or the person who gets to decide on what the rules are going to be, what the scenario is going to be, how it kind of plays out when you want to make a decision, what's going to happen. You travel and explore together in a party. When I was as you can see here, right? A little New York Times. Brutal. Okay, we'll go back here. But a lot of friends kind of getting together and role playing to as much of an extent as they want. I remember at Electronic Arts on the Sims 4 team, about once a week, the gameplay engineering team would meet in a side room and they would play D&D together. And on occasion, I would just kind of hop in and watch. I didn't really have a character, but they actually had a projector. And they would put up images of like the background, whatever the environment was supposed to be at the time, right? A meadow fields or a dungeon kind of cavey style background. And they sometimes even put on like ambient music and pipe that through the HDMI. They would even talk with accents, and they would talk with certain mannerisms depending on what kind of character they were and what kind of background that character had. And what situation they would in too. They would act, nervous and really role play, and it was very engaging. Okay. So in order to decide how things go, right, when you want to make a action or you want to fight or do something difficult, you roll the dice to determine the outcome of certain events. And the Dungeon Master can make that success or failure more or less rare, depending on what kind of outcome they require in terms of the numbers on the die. Massive influence on RPG games, Final Fantasy, Baldur's Gate, all that good stuff. As far as the development experience goes, the game is kind of designed and refereed by a dungeon master. They kind of take a bunch of stock rules and ideas out of D&D itself, but then they write lore, they write stories, NPCs, they figure out what the encounters are going to be. Apparently, here's a photo of a DM, a Dungeon Master's notebook. Steve Jivitson didn't date it, but this is like an environment for a dungeon, and it kind of looks like this round, like little pill or kidney shaped. Armor and weapons that you can find, okay, and the progression of things that might happen. So this is to say that a lot of game designers have experience with D&D, in part because they got started designing games by being a dungeon master, okay? You're trying to create a certain experience. And like with games, you don't control what your players are going to do. And so you have to be very careful to try and guide them and lead them in certain directions. And if things go off the rails in an unexpected way, you have to be able to recover and kind of dynamically make that work, okay? And change the story. Permitted to deviate from rules if necessary. A very interesting thing, unlike a video game, a board game has no real way to stop them or gatekeep content unless they play along. It really is up to the dungeon master and the players what they want to go along with. And if the entire party gets wiped out, they can always conjure up a miraculous Deus Ex Machina to save them at the last moment if they want to, okay, if they don't want to lose their characters or whatever. But it's a very dynamic game. The scripting language of D&D is English. Okay. All right. So any questions or comments on D&D? Okay. How long do D&D sessions tend to go? Because I think that's one of the reasons I've never really gotten into them. Yeah, Nat.
As long as you want.
Okay, Nat?
Every Friday, I usually go from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. This is not normal, but I have a lot of fun.
6 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Yep.
Did you do it after the exam?
Oh, yes. As soon as the exam was over, I drove to Mason and I played D&D until 3. I almost died.
Did that affect your character? Is that the reason you almost died? Or?
No, we're just in trouble with D&D.
Oh, okay, got you. All right. Well, it's more fun that way, I suppose. Yes? Noah?
Mine are every Tuesday from 8:30 to 11.
Tuesday every 8:30 to 11. Very good. Yes, Jose?
Fridays from like 6 to 11.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, I don't know if I could hang out with people that long. Like, I don't have that much social energy. But anyway, yeah, sounds like a really cool game. All right, cool. All right, AI, a very big topic these days. Licenses, a big topic for our game engine students. So let's listen to this AI sing the MIT license, and you'll never forget it again.
Donation is hereby granted free of charge to any person obtaining a copy of this software and associated documentation files. This software to deal in the software without restriction, including without limitation the rights to use, copy, modify, merge, publish, distribute, sub-license, and/or sell copies of the software, and to permit persons to whom the software is furnished to do so, subject to the following conditions. The above copyright notice and this permission notice shall be included in all copies or substantial portions of the software. The software is provided as is, without warranty of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to the warranties of merchantability, listed for a particular purpose and non-infringement.
Okay, so I think it's a bit of a banger. But yeah, if somehow you haven't been keeping up with it, yeah, it's getting better and better all the time. It's a bit spooky, okay? But as the AI gets better and better, I think humans are getting more and more clever about ways to meme it and mess with it and get it to do interesting, fun things. So, all right, let's. We had this discussion the other day with one of the students in the course. Not particularly worried right now because the moment that AI starts becoming super human like, humans will change and to become less and less AI like. So it'll be interesting to watch if that happens. RPG Maker is coming to Nintendo Switch. This is an interesting release, a game engine being released on a game console. You don't actually see that a whole lot, but the Nintendo Switch has the unique functionality of being portable and also being kind of a touch screen interface. So RPG Maker is also just very nice in many ways. Let's see here. Well, Jose, go for it. You had a hand.
I'm pretty sure RPG Maker's already on the Switch. Or was this something new?
Let me see real quick.
Yeah, they had it last year.
Oh yeah, this is old. Let me see here. Let's go.
RPG Maker on the Switch?
Yeah. What is this? Oh, you want to see the trailer anyway? All right. Let's see how this looks. I'm actually curious. Here we go. All right.
So I said that was RPG Maker on the DS.
Okay. Here we go. Can you read this? Any of you? No?
Oh, asset sharing.
Oh,
Asset sharing.
aseto sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, while we watch this finish up, it's a bit interesting to see. One question is like, how do you share your games? Can you do that? How do you share assets? Apparently, it's possible. But Nintendo has always kind of shied away from that kind of thing because, like, oh, user-generated content, right? Users might create some very, spicy or spooky things, and then they're sharing it with tons of people everywhere, or anyone who has the game. Well, in any case, okay, a reminder, Get a Job Guide is here for you. What does this mean? Please, if you're having trouble finding opportunities for this summer, do not forget academia. Okay, lots of laboratories on campus. Interestingly, one of the reasons I created the EECS 298 course, one of the hints that it should be created, like there's a need for it, was that people, these laboratories in particular, these labs kept asking for 3D modeling abilities that I could never really fill. And to my knowledge, they didn't tend to get filled very quickly. And so you are now in a good position to support these labs and get letters of recommendation. If you want to go to grad school, get paid, get a first-time job, actually. Some of them are hiring not just interns over the summer, but also they're looking for full-timers. So good stuff. Anyway, yep. Stardock told me earlier that they are going to have an internship program for the summer. I'm not sure if that actually happened or not, but Stardock is definitely hiring right now. And in particular, I won't tell you who said it, but I was talking to someone very high up at Stardock very recently, and I was talking to them about how my students doing? Like, what do do you want me to change anything? Like, should we change the curriculum? Like, are there any particular nasty habits my students have besides using too much static stuff? And they told me that, basically they were having issues because, people in the industry were applying to Stardock, but their resumes and skill sets and interviews were worse than the U of M students. So they were getting a bit concerned that they would just have to start taking all of our students, which sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about you. But anyway, so yeah, apply to Stardock very seriously. Very well-regarded team and company. Look at that. Game developer right there. All right. And so everything else is senior. So it looks like they've slowed down a little bit. Give them a shot and send me a message when you do, and I'll ping the lead recruiter there to put in my 2 cents for you. Okay. So, all right, cool. Okay, reminder, you can provide feedback on the exam. It's one of the assignments in the exam category, that Google form you've been filling out. So please let me know how the exam went for you. In particular, if you thought anything was unfair or maybe too easy, okay? And it's hard to iterate the exam because every year needs a new exam. And you won't get your exam feedback and results yet until we have the makeup exam, the alternate exam, get finished and executed. Hopefully, you'll have stuff next week, okay? Sometime next week. We will also have stickers for you, course completion stickers for you, I think late next week, okay? So we'll have our final lecture or so. We'll definitely have stickers by then at least. So you can get those stickers, prove you completed a very difficult course. Okay. All right. So auto graders are off now. Well done to all of you. And by off, we mean that they no longer provide any grade that's above 0. Okay. So you can still use them while they're still on. And some students wanted to do that as they add custom features just to make sure they didn't break anything too badly. So you can definitely do that. If they go down, I might bring them back up. It depends how busy I am, but I tend to be very, very busy with showcases and stuff like that. I am going to create one more extra credit assignment for you basically attending the 440 and 494 showcases. You go there, you have a good time, take a selfie, and you get some points. Okay? And why do I do that? Well, I want you to immerse yourself in the awesome projects and education happening in other courses. Okay? For your own benefit, also for the benefit of those people there who would like to have their projects be played. Okay? So this is like just another extension of the Yarger cinematic universe. And if you've taken EECS 440 ecosystem, right? Basically, it's like, you know what the best customer is? A repeat customer, right? That's the cheapest, that's the most effective, and so that's why we do this kind of stuff. If you've never taken 440, like, have any of you not taken 440? You didn't get my business lecture, ecosystems lecture, you haven't gotten that lecture? Okay, biggest, nastiest, meanest ecosystem on the planet is right here in your pocket. Why? Because Apple's going to sell you a phone for $800, but then they've got 1,000 different ways they're going to make money from you for the rest of time. Okay? And God help you if you get an Apple Watch as well. You're trapped because you cannot go to Android. What happens if you go to Android? What happens if to your poor Apple Watch?
You become happier.
You become happier if you go to Android. Yeah, that's my experience too. But this poor Apple Watch becomes useless, okay, if I switch to Android, okay? Stuff like that. The moment that you get an iPhone and you have a good time, you want to go get a Mac, okay? That's part of the ecosystem effect, the Apple cinematic universe, and the same thing is here, okay? So be careful, by the way. Be careful about ecosystems. They can be abusive. If you get stuck in them, one of the reasons I left the Apple ecosystem a decade ago and became an Android, I became a PC, is because I needed a charger cable for my MacBook Pro, and the darn charger cable would have been like $15 on Amazon if I had a Windows machine, and from Apple it was like 80 or 90. It's ridiculous. Yes?
I guess like one, these MacBooks are just using USB-C for charging, and
Yep.
two, I downloaded Linux on my MacBook hardware.
Nice. Solid.
So,
Great.
well, Norton.
Apple hardware is my favorite thing about them. Shout outs to the EU and Europeans requiring Apple to use USB-C instead of their weird lightning stuff. Okay, all right. That's all I got. That's the end of that tangent. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I might bring them back up, but as soon as they go down over the summer, I'm definitely not bringing them back up. So we'll see how long they last. Last year, they lasted a month. But I don't know, like all y'all this year have been very good at breaking the auto graders, okay? Over the weekend, we had some engines that were not terminating when they should. Some Homework 7 engines not terminating when they should. And so what happens is because of Homework 9 being long, the autograder's timeout was raised to 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes at 60 frames per second at a certain resolution, right, ends up with 50 gigabytes for one student's worth of data. And so that filled up the hard drive, which caused their program to crash, but also caused the autograder program to crash, and it just couldn't get going, okay? So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's resolved now, but I'm sure we can find another way to bring them down. Okay. All right. And it is finally time to customize our engines. You are free. It is my fondest wish for you that you take these autograders and you make them your own, okay? Maybe over the summer you decide to add some features, as a number of students did, okay? Jacob, shout-outs to Jacob, adding tons of cool features to his. He and Junwin are going to give a talk on CMake on Wednesday. And this is definitely one you're going to want to be at, or you're going to want to watch on Twitch at the very least, or on the lecture recording. Because if you have loved Make and Visual Studio and Xcode, well, this is probably not a lecture you want to go to. But if you've not loved Make and Visual Studio and Xcode and would like to throw them into the dust and never look back, CMake is going to let you do that. All right. Have you noticed that Make and Visual Studio and Xcode, they're kind of the same, in the things they want you to do, the things they want you to tell them. Okay, the configuration you need to do to make your project come to life is kind of the same on each of these. It's just the UI and the naming conventions and all those nasty things that get in the way. Well, CMake provides one kind of standard way to set all these things up. And then when you run CMake, it will generate the makefile. And you don't do anything with the makefile. You don't edit it. You just run the makefile, and boom, it does what you want. Same thing with the Visual Studio project, okay? Same thing with the Xcode project. I'm going to show you another kind of meta build system, they're called sconce today, S-construct, because it's one of those weird build systems that Godot uses, okay? After we're done talking about your milestone, I'm going to show you how to start making contributions to the Godot open source game engine source code, okay? Have any of you tried to investigate some sort of cool open source project and you can't even get it to run? All right, and you give up. Well, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen to you, at least not with Godot, okay? And so that's what we're going to do. All right. Let's go ahead and keep going, though. Discussion section, if you look at this schedule, will not be held anymore. Why? Well, discussion section is all about kind of helping you with the details, getting into the trenches and helping you get through an assignment or getting you ready for an exam or a quiz. Well, we don't have any more auto-graded assignments. We don't have any more quizzes, and our exam is toast, okay? So what's the point? And the answer is, not really much, okay? So it's going to be lectures from here on out. We will have one final lecture on the 21st. And then immediately after that will be the EECS 440 showcase, okay? So you can actually get extra credit by just sticking around this final lecture, getting your sticker, and chilling with us for a little bit longer to enjoy some VR and AR projects. Could be a really fun time. Okay, question, Jose?
494 showcase?
494 showcase, I'll put it on the calendar, but let's look at the 494 schedule really quickly. It is right here on the 22nd, okay? Literally the day after, from 7 to 10 p.m., but the exhibitors will be there starting at 6. They'll get there an hour early, okay? All right. Okay, so let's keep going. I want feedback. How did the exam go? How did it feel? Was it all you hoped for? Did it meet your wildest expectations? What was it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Yeah. Some people on the feedback were saying it was tough. It's kind of what I expect people to say after an exam that's 4 hours long.
So I think that the final question was very intimidating. I saw it was networking, but then I realized it wasn't really networking kind of.
Yeah, you know what it really was?
Event bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But once I realized that was fine, but it was very intimidating at first. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yep, Jose.
I found question 19 with the character selector.
Yeah.
That one was off. So
Yeah.
Because I knew what I wanted to do. I just couldn't write small enough to fit everything on the page. So
Oh.
I'm gonna do this kind of
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of people who, for whatever reason, they put almost all the functionality into the manager, and they put almost nothing into the actual character component. I had one student come up to me during the exam, not see that there was a second component that they had to write, because it was like they had to flip the page.
I tried putting some stuff into the character, but I didn't think of maybe we should do everything in character. I'm like, just have a
No. There are certain parts of the problem that are very obviously decentralized, and then there are other parts of the problem that are centralized, where all the characters need to kind of communicate, and that's where the manager is really, really helpful. Anyway, I hope the exam was not too nasty, but also not too easy. We'll have that feedback to you soon, so you can see what went wrong, and you can ask for regrades. Regrades will have to happen in person, okay? I do not want you asking for them via email or on Piazza, but you'll come and you'll get your feedback. You can read it right there, and you can point things out that are incorrect and problematic or whatever. And part of that is just the kind of low-tech nature of all this, is that, I don't want you going home and making changes via pencil and coming back and saying, why did you mark this thing wrong when it was right, okay? So you will have to do the regrade requests while I'm there, probably during office hours. But grades in general were pretty high, okay? So not a big problem. Handwriting quality was phenomenal compared to last year. Last year was a complete disaster. And this year was fantastic, okay? We had no one writing outside the boxes. People rewrote their the nasty parts of their handwriting, and it was fantastic, okay? So good job. Our understanding of the build process is mediocre, the makefile question, okay? We had some fun things where, and these were like the small losses of points, where the student knew what to do, but they wrote everything in the Windows format instead of the required Linux one. That's fine, not a huge point loss. But we also had a lot of stuff that just made no sense at all, and misunderstanding of a very simple situation, which is a little bit painful. Part of me thinks we should put more of those questions on the quizzes to get you a bit more practice with making stuff build, right? But hopefully CMake will take care of a lot of those issues, okay? All right. Some complaints on the feedback forums already on how much Lua there is. The exact same complaints I got last year. I didn't change anything. You know why? I cannot think of any better way to decide and figure out if you understand how your game engine is actually used. i.e., those Lua questions are really nice. It's a good tool for us because it allows us to figure out, do you know how your game engine is actually used? A very important question. And also, do you understand the actual structure of your game engine? Okay? I can't tell you how many people instantiated a template, giving them an actor, and then they started like adding data members to it and altering it like it was a Lua table. It's not. It's an actor. You need to get a component on an actor, and then the component is what you can alter, okay? That is why we have a lot of Lua featured on the exam. Also, knowing Lua is just a really good idea for this industry, and so incentivizing you to learn it better and better is a good idea, okay? All right, anyway, extra credit, course evals, right? Course evals are where you can help us understand what ideas you have to fix the course up. Going from last year to this year, a lot of the fixes we made to help the course be a much nicer experience came exactly from the evals, okay? When you do those course evals, you get these big sections where you can write and give us your thoughts on what's working and also what's not. And that is how courses get much better over time. It's a shame that you don't get to enjoy the improved versions of the courses that come from your feedback, but you are contributing to a better future for the people who come behind you. So I really appreciate you doing that. So we'll give you some extra credit. The more people do the course evals, the more we'll give you. So please let your friends, your teammates, well, you don't really have them in this course, but let your friends and peers know about this, and thank you in advance for helping us improve these courses, okay? I really, really appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about what your main concern is now, okay? So, you are now broken free from the shackles of the autograder and those nasty assignment specs requiring all those nasty features. You can now decide what you want to work on. An example, in our kind of first year, we had Xperio engine created by Nikhil Ghosh. He made this engine because he really wanted to experiment with how can I build a C++ engine that has hot reloading, okay, and has kind of an integrated Unity-style editor experience. And he was able to do it, but it came at great cost in terms of time and energy. He discovered he made some very early on fundamental architectural errors that made actually creating a Unity-style engine very hard, okay? But it was a fantastic experience for him. On the right, we have the Rav engine, which was created by Ravi Bhatt, who is the GSI of our first year running the course. And Ravi is very interested in optimization, okay? So he made a 3D engine, and he wanted to make an engine that in particular was excellent at aesthetics, graphics rendering, very fast, okay? A lot of interesting lighting experiments. And he actually, his master's, his honors thesis was basically integrating some new shadowing technologies he found in a paper into his Rav engine. because he had his own game engine, he could go do that. So a super nice test bed for him to do experimental stuff. That's what we're hoping for you on these assignments, okay? We want you to take your engine and just imagine what it could be, okay? Maybe you want to add online multiplayer, okay? You want to add some networking support into your engine so that we can actually connect to things and disconnect from things in our Lua codebase. Maybe you just want to make a DDR game. You want to have DDR dance pad support, okay, for your engine. And go for it, okay? You want to go fight Step Mania. You want to add a beat map editor, something like that. Let's rock and roll. Sounds good to me, okay? But basically, over the next 2 weeks, you are going to have time to work on this feature. Now, we're going to have a checkpoint in 7 days, halfway through this new feature. And then you're going to have a final at the very end of those 2 weeks. And then your final assignment, kind of your final exam. Now, I can take this assignment away if you want, and we can do a final exam if you want. Okay? Now, that one's going to be 8 hours long. Anyway, yeah, it's just going to be a super hard version of the final exam because I'm not redesigning. I'm not designing another one after this alternate exam I have to do. Custom feature, okay? Custom feature final. You're going to do a postmortem. This is basically a big essay in which you are going to reflect on the entire development process and kind of figure out, reflect on what went wrong, what went right, okay? How can you make future development efforts go a little bit better? You're going to register your engine with the course so that we can add it to our a2engine.org database. Yeah, it's pretty open-ended from there, okay? You're going to think about potential custom features, okay? Now, you can come up with any feature you want, so long as it is sufficiently technically interesting and involves at least a little bit of effort, okay? A good example. Last year, we had a fantastic student create the Blitz engine. And Rahul, who's now working at Stardock, really wanted to do tweening, animation stuff. They wanted their engine to have really good support for tweening. So here's the final submission that you're going to have to do at the end of the 2 weeks.
What's coming up next for the Blitz engine as we begin the course. So I want to preface with the fact that this year does have timestamps and chapters, so please, if you're short on time, skip to the parts that interest you, or if you just want to see what's cool about the engine.
It definitely doesn't.
Use those timestamps, the chapters. They are labeled, so you should be able to see what might...
Okay, so what basically you're going to do in 2 weeks is you are going to be kind of explaining and talking through what you decided to do. You're going to be showing the important bits of code that you wrote, allowing you to do this thing that you wanted to. In this case, there's a famous library called DoTween, and Rahul implemented that and created some examples, some test cases that show how the different tweening motions and functions work. So we got all these different kind of square objects kind of moving back and forth with different tweening algorithms, different equations, basically. So we get to see the C++ code that makes that come to life. I think we also get to see the Lua. Yep, right there. If you look really closely, you can see it's called GoTween now. And it's a new table that allows you to write some Lua code and call different functions and move your object based on those functions. So nice, efficient. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it looks like Rahul actually went in and showed how this could be used in gameplay by creating kind of a floating platform right there using the final Homework 8 test case. Okay, so super cool stuff. One of the cool things about the course is like whenever I want to make a game and I make a little game, maybe I make it in my engine and I say, well, this isn't really big enough to release, but you know what I can do with this? I can turn it into a test case. And the next semester gets to play that game as a test case. So in certain ways, the course becomes harder over time. But I think more test cases means more bugs getting flushed. And so probably higher quality engines, okay? Anyway, so this is the kind of thing we're looking for. Another example came out of nowhere. Max Trumpet decided to create the micro game engine, is what he called it, and provide a logo. This happened after the course was done. He went and added 3D support to it. He also added support for the bullet engine, right? So when he destroys one of these objects, I think these Minecraft blocks will fall, right? Yeah. So that's a lot of work, okay? He's I don't know where he's working now, but I assume he's going to find it easier than ever to get a job. So pretty impressive stuff. Okay, learned some OpenGL, I think, and then learned Bullet physics engine. In any case, he went in.
All right. Hello, everyone.
He went in and he added Fmod. Have you ever heard of Fmod? So Max is a musician. Okay, he was in the marching band, and he wanted his engine to support a very high quality, and very expressive, and very customizable form of audio. So he integrated the famous Fmod kind of audio middleware engine, so I think he shows that in here. Oh, maybe he doesn't. No, this is like C++ stuff, or this 3D stuff. Well, he added basically some really cool audio technology. What he also did, I think, let me go up here. He created a fully fledged game. So kind of 494 style, one of the things you could choose to do if you want to is say, hey, I'm not going to add any particular feature to my engine. I'm going to make a deluxe game in my engine. And by the way, that's going to force you to add some features, okay? Because you're going to find things you want to do that just the assignments didn't require us to do. But that's okay. You're probably also going to find a bunch of bugs that we didn't flush out. But here's Grapple Master. I played this the other day. I'm playing this on Windows. But I was able to play this on a Raspberry Pi 5, I think, as well. So let's go ahead and take a look. You can see the full screen is a little bit messed up, right? It didn't take over the entire screen. Yeah, this is just me being bad at the game for a while. There's something I'm supposed to know here. Oh, jumping is a little bit different, I guess. Okay, let's get to the good part. There we go. Okay, so this is called Grapple Master because you can grapple.
Yeah, that's illegal. You can't do that.
Yeah, this ain't 494.
Yeah.
I think it's just training me to get good at jumping right now, and then grappling comes in a bit. Oh, this is wall jumping. They're trying to teach me to wall jump. Okay, here we go. Gee, this is evil. What? Okay, cool. Okay, finally, right? Here we go. Notice how we got a new track of audio. A new layer has come into the audio. At some point, we do get the grappling hook. One day. We got all sorts of features. We got new mechanics. We got parallax in the background. We have a tiny bit of a story going on here. Do I ever get to the grapple? I don't think I ever made it to the grapple. Oh, no. Yeah. Well, rest in peace. Well, the good news is you can download and play the game yourself, all right? And see if you can make it any further. Okay, yeah, go for it. Yep, Grapple Master. Any GIFs? No? Wisp? Okay. Real quick. Yeah, get to see. There we go. Save file system, cool. Oh, an end cutscene, okay. In any case, yeah, pretty fully featured game. You can do that if you want to. If you're more of a game developer or gameplay programmer, that's what you might want to do, okay? Other things, online networked multiplayer, the Sage engine, okay? Daniel Sage had a lot of fun. Fantastic student. He had a lot of fun going in and creating some new Lua APIs, some new Lua tables that allowed clients to connect to a server.
This is the menu screen. Not much going on in terms of menu screens, but let's press enter to go in. So on the right here, this client has joined the server. We can see some debug output from the server going on. And well, it looks like we're in the lobby and we're waiting for the player. So the other players can join and we're into the game right away. And so you can see in this game, you can move around, you can shoot lasers, and I can shoot this guy. It's kind of hard to demo a two-player game with one computer.
Yep, but he did it. Good job. Okay, what else? Let's go with one of the more popular ideas, integrating an editor. This is a very difficult challenge. Here's an example, though, the Eclipse engine.
Hello. So I'm going to be going over my custom game engine features that I added. I actually added two, simply because I finished the package manager last week and patience of everything. So let me show you how. So this is a little map I put together. I drew all of these sprites in Sprite. It was a lot of fun making the wall tiles. They're incredibly satisfying to just like click together. And we have a wizard dude. I really want to make it like benchmark game for the game jam at the end of the semester, so why not get started a little bit early on some of the assets. Yeah. So this is tile. As you can see, there's two layers here. The first layer is like the whole room, and then layer 2 just contains the wizard. And so what this is doing is the way my engine is loading all of the tiles. It goes from like bottom up, so it will preserve the order that you have the tile. And then, as you can see here, all the walls will split into their tile sets. Right now, I'm handling overrides a little bit strangely. You can't make like every single override that you could doing it with the like JSON. Mostly because I was having trouble parsing out the JSON that's generated by tiles. And there's other things that I'm going to focus on at this point. So right now, the overrides are basically just based on the tile's position in the tile map. So yeah, and then what I did is you go to File, Export as, make that focus, just keeps my computer alive. Yeah, and you export it as a JSON map file. And then I've already exported it. I don't really feel like again, because my computer's having a rough time as is. But here. Yeah, so here's a few other ones that I was working on, but this is all. I can show you the JSON for that. If it cooperates. What tripped me up for a long time is in order to get like that nice JSON listing of the tile sets, you need to embed the tile set into your project with this button right here. So really simple, but it tripped me up for a while, so I don't want that to happen to you. Yeah. We do go to this file. So yeah, this is some really ugly parsing code. I apologize about that, but it works. So hey, yeah. Basically,
run the engine.
First things first, it loads the map. You have to load the tile sets before you embed this one right here. So really simple, but it tripped me up for a while, so I don't want that to happen to you. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Finally, he runs the engine.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, cool. So now that works. And yeah, now we have our. It's once again running in slow motion because my computer is just dying to heat death. Yeah.
Right. So an important part here is that not only can you edit a map this way, but you can also kind of do overrides. You can edit the properties of certain actors that you place into the environment, which is really, really, really important for game designers in creating stuff quickly. Okay, and so make sure that you do that. Anyway, lots of good examples here. Controller support is pretty fun. So here's the co-op multiplayer hard mode Donna Shmup game that I kind of want to play because this looks kind of fun. It's multiplayer, right? So you've got multiple people with the controllers all supported. You've got bumpers supported. I saw someone who did the touchpad for the PlayStation 4 controller. Okay, so you're able to move Donna by using that. So lots of cool stuff in the game. The game ends with when one player gets killed? That's brutal, okay? Any game that does that will have teammates that fight each other. because it's like, oh, I'm playing super well, but you're not playing super well, and now I have to restart because you stunk. Okay, so don't do that. For those of you taking 494 in the future, Jinx, a really cool little engine that allows you to play your game in the web browser. This is a, let's see here. Here you go. It's actually surprisingly not too hard to convert your games to WebGL versions. In fact, it's so possible that I've actually considered having the autograder do it automatically for your engine for each of your test cases. So you would see like, here, watch the footage of your engine, but then you'd see another link that says, here, hey, play the test case in your web browser with your engine. And that would be super cool, I think. In any case, right, there you've got the test case in the Chrome web browser. And they even went further and they actually made it an editor that you can use in the browser. And so you can actually edit this level, this stage. It edits some other stuff. You run a few other commands, so it's not seamless. But then you are playing a new test case just like that. So kind of interesting, okay? Pretty impressive. Boink, you jump right into it. Cool, okay. But do they have the world record? They don't. All right, so who has the world record again? Chris, what was the world record?
Like 8 something. 8 seconds.
8 seconds. Incredible. We need to get the task going, and that's going to be the new test case. Okay. Okay. Blah blah blah. What else can we do? Integrate Dear ImGUI. Okay, stuff like that. Audio middleware. Blah blah blah. Oh, actually, let's see here. Yeah, I'm just going to bring that up here. Okay, because we actually have a slot for that now. We had some engines that kind of stayed very sensible and normal, but they decided to, for instance, add multi-threading. Okay, performance improvements to the engine. That's a difficult challenge. And if you do go with one of those features that is all about performance, it doesn't really change the appearance of games, it just changes performance. You're going to need to have some benchmarks. Okay, we're going to need to see how performance compares with your new version, your multi-threaded, your SIMD version, your whatever, versus the normal one. Okay, this one actually apparently is a little bit popular. I don't know. This is called PyGerm, and basically they took our engine, took our A2 engine, and they said, I don't like Lua very much. They ripped it out and they replaced it entirely with Python. So now you're writing Python 3 code in order to make everything happen. Yeah, super impressive stuff. And they even have an install page. They even have like a global module in like the Python standard library, I think. Yeah, you do pip install PyGerm, and then you can just run it. It's a bit crazy. Okay, I'll have to check it out later. My students go on, they even have a wonderful, like, look at this wonderful API. Wow. Amazing. Where'd they get that? So my students go on and do amazing things, and they don't tell me about it. And then years later, I learn about it. So if you do an amazing thing, tell me, okay? I want to feel proud. And I am proud. So, all right. Custom hot reloading, stuff like that. Okay, I won't take too much more time, but you get the gist of it, right? Here's a fun one. Speeding up your loading of your scenes by switching from JSON to something that's more of a binary data format. For instance, BSON. The AC engine did BSON, and I think they cut it's a binary JSON format, and they cut their loading times by something like 15 to 20%, which is not too bad. I think you can go even lower if you don't use BSON, but you use something else. In any case, lots of things you can do. You can add CMake build support, okay, as your big new feature if you want to. A lot of people do controller support. It's pretty quick and pretty easy. And a lot of people are very ambitious. They try something like integrating a map or a scene editor. And then some people go crazy and they add 3D rendering support. Okay, this is Junwin's project. Jun, are you here?
Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to briefly introduce 3 new features on my game engine. So the scene you can see here as rendered from the previous week's rendering system. I would say it's not bad. It contains most of the important features of rendering, like textures, geometries, training models, light, and shadows. However, it also has several issues. The first one, the models were hard-coded in the rendering system, so you just couldn't specify what models to render. To fix this, I introduced a new 3D job call to Lua script. Now we can specify what model to render, what texture to apply to it, and how to transform or scale the model. We can also add new model to the scene, which looks like this. A sphere in the middle of the scene with its shadow cast on the ground. We can also move the models around by updating their transformation matrices each frame. Like this. Now we have two separate spheres moving in different directions. Okay.
Yeah, pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, what are the dimensions of a 2D affine transformation matrix? 3 by 3, of course, right? You want a 2D matrix? It's 3 by 3. Let's rock and roll. What if you want to move things and deal with things and transform things in 3D space? So 3D transformation matrix.
4 by 4.
4 by 4, of course. Of course. It has to be, right? Okay, very good. So, you get the idea. You are at liberty here to do what you want. The only thing we're really going to look for is, number one, that you have chosen something that is a little bit substantial, and number two, that you prove it effectively, okay, by doing this. At the end of the week, what you will have to upload to Canvas, and remember, the late penalty is different than auto-graded assignments. You've got 24 hours to turn things in late for 20% penalty, but after that, it's 100% penalty. Don't turn the stuff in late. These are easy points. You're going to record a video demonstration of your progress and what you're working on via OBS, okay? You're going to explain what your custom feature is and why do you care about it? Why does it matter? And then you're going to explain what your progress was this week and what you plan to do next week to finish it up. Okay, you'll also show us any sort of cool code or anything that you worked on that you're proud of. All right, and you'll upload that video, you'll submit it to Canvas, and you're good. Okay, that's it. That is it. So not too bad. You're going to select a custom feature. If you're nervous about your feature, you think it's way too easy or not substantial enough, you can come talk to me. We'll either improve the idea, make it a bit more substantial, or I'll tell you to get a different idea, or I'll tell you to do multiple ideas, which some students did. They finished an idea too early. They were bored, so they started on a second idea to make their engine cooler, and there you go. You can use any sort of third-party libraries you want now. You are not limited to the libraries from the assignment specs. So, for instance, I think someone last year replaced Lua Bridge with Soul, which is kind of an integration. Yeah, who did it?
Raul. Wolverine Engine also
Raul?
does that.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
Quick disclaimer for using Soul.
Yeah.
If you're using the most recent version of Xcode, it doesn't work. So don't use Soul if you're a Mac user or you wanted to build on Mac.
Imagine escaping Xcode and then being plunged back in the Xcode.
According to Robbie, the issue actually just got worse the other day.
Really? Oh, brutal. Okay. Well, someone should tell whoever manages Soul to go figure it out.
I have.
Oh, brutal. Okay. And then you're going to create that basic prototype and demonstration in 1 week. Okay. So this is really about figuring out what you care about. Okay. I said about a lot of times right there. But why did you take this course? Why are game engines interesting to you? What do you like about your game engine currently? What do you wish it could do? What are you curious about, right? This is your excuse to go do some research, to go explore something that you haven't really had a chance to put some time into yet, okay? And get points in college credit for doing so. So take advantage of this opportunity. These final 2 assignments are the reason that we are not doing an assignment related to editor integration, that we're not doing some other stuff, okay? So please do what you wish with these assignments and have a good time. Have a satisfying time. Learn something, will you? Okay. Any comments or questions about this homework you are now on? Okay. If your grades are kind of low because of the exam or, just because of the homeworks, the auto-graded homeworks, there's a lot of points. These 3 assignments contribute 150 points. Look at this. 150 points to your total score. And if I'm being honest, you should get pretty much all of these points. Okay? Pretty much all of you should be getting all these points. There was a question. Well, hey, I didn't get to homework 9 on my engine, right? I didn't complete homework 9. I didn't complete homework 8. Well, am I in trouble? No, I don't think so. You can go and you can do interesting work within your engine, even if you haven't gotten all of homework 9 and homework 8 or even homework 7 finished, okay? So you just have to be a little bit careful about what kind of feature you choose. Don't choose a bunch of Lua-related features if you don't have a good implementation of the Lua side of your engine from the auto-graded assignments, okay? So be a little bit careful about that, but you're going to be okay. All right. Okay. Any questions? Any comments? All right. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite engines, not because I like to use it that much, because I love what it represents, what it could one day become. All right. If you remember our very first lecture, we talked about some of the sins of Unity. In fact, Unity and their install fee drama showed up on the exam, had a little cameo on the exam. Okay. And so one of the reasons this course was created was because we want to have a large population of people who, if necessary, or if they want to, can go and contribute to open source projects and make a meaningful contribution to them. All right? That is the kind of thing, having a strong open source product, that's the kind of thing that keeps commercial products from squeezing their users too much. One of the reasons Maya had better stay high quality is because Blender is ready to take over and is nipping at its heels if it does not. Okay? And the same thing here with Unity and Godot. Okay? So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Godot. It ranks very well, actually, among open source projects. It is currently number 8, it seems, in just general popularity, right behind PyTorch and TensorFlow, which are pretty well-known libraries. And it is getting better and better and more popular all the time. It is an engine that, if we're being honest, is aimed squarely at Unity, and it has gaining quite a bit of steam. So the most prominent game that I think it has been used on is a game called Sonic Colors. Okay, it's the Sonic Colors remake. And now the good news is that Godot finally got a AAA project. The bad news, yeah, it went badly. Okay, Sonic Colors remake was a catastrophe when it released. Okay, let's take a quick watch.
Sonic Colors Ultimate is objectively the most broken Sonic game ever made. Don't tell me people are actually blaming the Switch for this. So, recently Sonic Colors Ultimate came out. I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that it's made with Godot. Yeah, and the bad news is that it's made with Godot and has bugs. Well, at least on the Switch. So who's at fault in this? Is it the engine? Is it the developers? Or the Switch? Is Godot even AAA ready? I'm Ethan and welcome to Redefine. For some time now, there is a rumor running around the Godot community that Sonic Colors Ultimate might be developed with Godot. This was confirmed by Skype on Twitter, posting a detailed thread about the game actually using parts of the Godot engine. The news that the AAA game was made with Godot hyped up the community. Because it's a big deal. Having a AAA company working with Godot means that the engine can grow and follow in the steps of Blender, hopefully. Sonic Colors Ultimate is a remaster celebrating the 30th anniversary of Sonic. To pull this off, Sega enlisted the help of Blind Squirrel Games, who also worked on the Mass Effect Trilogy remake. With a solid experience and background, what could go wrong, right? By the way, if you're just starting out game development, why not give yourself a boost and get notice that. Godot Meta on Twitter says that this game costs money by posting a glitching video of the gameplay, while Eternally is having a normal one, moving three-dimensionally in a two-dimensional playing area. Random Brandon does not longer feel safe experiencing weird graphical artifacts while trying to complete the game. Well, having a game created with Godot is great. Having a AAA game with Godot is amazing.
Right, okay, blah, 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 right? Godot is starting to get a foothold, at least a little bit, in AAA. But do you know where Godot's where its main market is? Like Godot actually has an anchor industry where it is very common. Yes?
Gambling industry.
The gambling industry. And Noah, how do you know this?
Because you told me last year.
Oh, I told you last year. Damn. Okay. Which course did I tell you in?
494.
494. Okay. Yeah, the gambling industry. Do you know why the gambling industry would love Godot over something like Unity or Unreal or GameMaker?
No licensing fees.
No licensing fees, okay, but also, yes, it's very lightweight. That's another good reason. Okay, riddle me this. What happens if Unity one day decides they don't want to associate with immoral, entertainment like gambling? If you consider it, if they decide to consider it immoral, what happens? Yeah, they can just pull the plug. Hey, you're not allowed to use our Unity anymore. We're pulling your license. Godot has what license? An MIT license, which means you can take Godot and use it for anything, all right? Even things that make Godot's creators very upset. It is very interesting, and it has a anchor industry, which is very important, okay? Slay the Spire 2 could be the next big game to end up using Godot. This team ditched Unity when they did their crazy install fee stuff, and for a good reason. The Terraria developers are a very, very big Relogic, are a very big supporter and funder of Godot and its team. Which makes you wonder about what Terraria 2 might one day use as far as engine, okay? Very popular in casino and gambling. It has a popular subreddit. Tesla uses Godot for their in-app visualizations, okay? Which is kind of cool. They don't use Unity or Unreal. They probably have to pay a licensing fee. So let's rock with Godot. Why not, okay? Indeed isn't overflowing with Godot jobs. Let's see here. Let me in. Okay. Godot in the United States. Anyone looking for Godot developers in the USA? Tutors, evening coding teacher, tutors, front-end engineer, vehicle UI in Hawthorne, California. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Vizio. What? They want Godot? Do they really? You see it? Hey, yeah. Experience in building games. Godot, yep, there we go. Game design instructor, Game U, senior C++ graphics engineer at Rive, whatever that is. And do they want Godot? They probably want, what else? Unity, Unreal, Godot, right? So it is being found in there more and more often. You can do stuff with this engine, and that open source, royalty-free nature of the engine is a really exciting thing. Okay, very exciting thing. A couple things here. Godot's leader gave a GDC talk at 2023. I encourage you to watch it if open source engines is an interesting topic to you. Goes over some of the growth of the engine and their recent efforts with Godot 4. And one of the best ways to get a feel for how Godot is architected and how to jump into the C++ and start doing stuff with it and adding features and tweaking stuff is to watch this YouTube video where the creator of Godot is gonna go through and basically explain how is Godot organized, what can you do with it, and where should you look to start doing impactful things. Okay, go ahead, Evan.
Can you explain the Godot logo?
It's just a robot. I don't know. Yeah, Godot's logo. Godot's logo is a cute robot. Some people in the community have been saying that Godot won't be taken seriously unless it gets rid of the robot and gets a serious, professional logo, like maybe a cube or something like that, all right? Which is the Unity logo. I think it should stay and be proud and whatever it wants to do. The name comes from like a play or something, a theater. I don't really know. Yeah. Does the play? Does the play have anything to do with like games or?
No, it's absolutely not. Godot is essentially two people waiting around the entire time, just talking to each other. They occasionally change hats. Godot is supposed to be God.
Oh, there you go. You get to play God. You get to create new realities and play God with this engine. It's right there in the name. Okay. So you get to play God, and because you're a game developer, you're going to be working overtime. That's how it works. All right. You get to be God overtime. So there you go. All right. If you end up, if you go to the right studio or company, you won't have to do a bunch of nasty crunch and overtime. Okay. If you go to the wrong company, then you will. So be careful. Okay. So some workshop stuff. 2014 initial public release. Godot really stumbled when Unity did their install fee drama in 2023. Godot has a problem with performance. It has some odd architectural things that prevent it from being super performant. In particular, its graphics side of things are a bit underdeveloped. So if you have some graphics knowledge you'd like to contribute, you can go for it. It has a bunch of very unorthodox design decisions as an open source project. I think that's very common, okay? Like we're about to be teaching Blender next semester, and you're going to find that if it's open source, it's probably very funky, but it might be very good. It's just going to have a very weird flavor, okay? Whatever nerds decided to create it, you're going to feel them in every decision. They use a language called GDScript rather than C#. C# is pretty fully supported, but not completely, which is a shame. It kind of prevented a lot of Unity devs from coming over right away. It uses a build system when you're building the Godot project from scratch called scans. S-construct, I don't really understand exactly what it means, but it's kind of like CMake if CMake was just a bunch of Python. So one of the cool things about scans is that you can go into a scans project and you can write and edit a bunch of Python scripts to kind of really get in depth and tweak how the build process works for your project. Okay, it is very cool stuff. So building Godot, once you can build an open source project and get it running and do all that fun stuff, then that gives you a good chance to actually make contributions. Like always with C++, there's a huge nasty filter where a lot of people will just kind of fall off of it and lose interest when they spent their third hour just trying to get the thing to build. Okay? And that's a huge problem. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to build it and make some changes together as a team. I'm going to go to the GitHub project. I'm going to go to code. I'm going to grab that link right there. I'm going to go to my GitHub desktop. I'm going to go ahead and make a clone here. I'm going to clone it down. Okay, I'm going to call this Godot 3 folder because I just did this earlier today to make sure I wouldn't be wasting your time and bungling around the place. Now, while that clones, okay, many of these engines and open source projects will have documentation trying to explain how to build for various systems. You can see that it's not exactly trivial. Another really cool thing, though, is that Godot can actually compile to the web. There are web browser versions of the Godot engine and editor. Super, super cool stuff. You can actually, if you're running a summer camp, for instance, and you don't have the ability to install software on whatever lab you're using, you can just take the students, take the kids to the web version of Godot that someone has hosted, and they can just make their entire game, play it in the browser. Okay, very impressive stuff. I just love browser native stuff. It's amazing. Any of you grow up in a lot of you did grow up in like the albino black sheep, like newgrounds.com era, congregate.com, Armor Games. Oh my goodness. That was like my middle school, okay? My middle school, going to the lab and playing these games and watching videos that would get us in trouble if the teacher walked by, and it was just great. Well, in any case, have we finished cloning? No, not yet, okay? The full thing looks like it's going to be around 2 gigabytes. What else do we have to say? Scans, okay? Scans.org, a software construction tool. That's what it stands for. So software construction tool, it is Python, basically, just a bunch of Python that can be set up to run and build your project. When you have a project that you clone down to desktop, there will be a scans file. And if you run the scans command, just like a make file, right? Run make. It will go and build certain project files depending on the platform that you want, okay? So if we go in here, right, we can see that in this Godot project, right, this is all of Godot. This is the most recent Godot that people have pushed to. But I don't see any nice, convenient way to edit this. I don't see any sort of Visual Studio project in here. I don't see any Xcode project, okay? So this is fundamentally different than what you have with your game engine codebase. In your game engine codebase, you have a Visual Studio project. It's all set up, right? Ready for people to double click and start editing. It has an Xcode project all set up, ready for people to double click it and build or start editing stuff. It has a make file. No, here we have a meta build system. Okay, we have SC construct file, a software construct file. And that thing, if we open it up, let's see here in Notepad++, if we just open that thing up, we're going to see, oh my gosh, this is just Python. It's just not in a .py file. It's just a bunch of Python, okay, that fits certain standards and has certain expected functions, okay? That is it. And so what do we need to do? Well, here's what we need to do. We're going to go in and we're going to go in our command prompt to that folder, okay? Oops, dir, okay? I'm going to run a command, a scans command that has been given to me in the documentation. Scans, I want the target to be the editor. I want to build the Godot editor. It's going to be a development build to make debugging easier. The particular platform is going to be Windows, and I want to create a Visual Studio project, okay? A lot of nasty stuff, but fortunately, open source projects will usually tell you what you have to enter. Just do this, then do that, then do that, then you're good, right? So I'm going to just right click and I'm just going to enter this right here. This is going to run for a little while because there are a lot of things in Godot, a lot of files, a lot of configuration. And it's going to have to take some time to generate those nice Visual Studio project files so that I can then double click them and we can start editing stuff, okay? So there we go, and I'm just going to go ahead and let that run for a little bit. You have to install scans. You can do that via pip if you want to. You can add it to the path so that you can just run it very easily like I just did. And then what we're going to do is we are going to edit some Godot source code. We got 10 minutes. I hope it finishes in that time. I think it will. I think it might be kind of close, okay? But while we wait... yeah, what are the big exams that are coming up? Like, what are people nervous about? What's going to prevent you from working on the game engine custom feature? Let me know. What do we got? Yes?
I'm just not sure if my idea is, because you said something about, like technically, well, I'm just concerned, like, my idea is kind of simple.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, come up during office hours and ask me about it, and we'll tweak it, make it bigger, or I'll tell you another one on top of it, okay? You can still do it. Does 493 have a exam? It does?
The very last day of finals week.
What did they ask, like, what's the material? What do the practice exams have on there?
They've been
No idea?
going on and on about, like, AI, user research, and also interfaces.
Okay.
Kind of got off the rails.
Okay, I assume it's...
Don't know what anything's doing anymore.
If I were designing a 493 exam, I'd be all up in the CSS probably. But you also learned a bunch of JavaScript and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. That's a lot of good fodder for making an exam. Okay, we finished, all right? By the way, I really like my command prompts a lot more once I learned that in Mac, you can just do open dot, and then when you hit enter, it'll open up a nice Finder window to whatever directory you're currently in. You can on Windows, you can do explorer.exe dot, and you'll just get a nice little folder that pops up like that, okay? So anyway, if you look through here now, you'll see a Godot.sln file that wasn't there before. And that nice purple color kind of catches your eye. I can double click this. Visual Studio will open up and it is ready to rock, okay? Very quickly, actually. So we can go over here to Godot, and I can go into the source file. I can go to the core, and I can start finding some C++ code. All those lovely little licensing files right in there. I can go and see what kind of math data structures. They've got an A*.cpp. Anyone know what A* is? You take 492, you should know this. Yes? Yeah, it's a very common classical search algorithm that is a bit more efficient than depth-first search. Yeah, very common in games, okay? But you've got all this source code that you can read, and you can actually go through and try and find where the engine starts, which is kind of neat. In any case, I really want to build this. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to make sure x64, yep, editor, okay, I'm going to run. This is going to take a little while to build. Visual Studio is kind of angry. It's showing some errors down here. What is it angry about? But, oh yeah, but this is going to be just fine. Yeah, this is going to be just fine. Anyway, you can see it's going through and building everything, and when it is ready, it will actually pop up right in our face. Let's see, what else do I have to show you? A custom message like this? Yeah, let's see if we can actually create this. I'm kind of curious. Hello, EECS498.007. I don't remember where we put this at all. Like, not in the slightest. I should have taken more notes, but maybe we can find it, okay? Maybe we can find it. While it's building, maybe we can find, you know what? I think that there's a message in Godot that comes up. There's like a copyright notice that comes up. I think the main developer's name is Juan. And can we find code that prints the message Juan? Oh, it's just lots of copyright stuff. I don't want this nasty copyright stuff. I want other stuff. Let's see. What's going to happen? When we run this, when we run the engine, we should be able to see what appears in the console, and then we can probably find out what function call we need to do. Can we do like console? Is that going to give us anything? Open console. What is it called? Audio driver. Okay, render, maybe output. Oh my gosh, way too many, okay? Let's go with message. Oh my God, cancel search. Okay, message, global def. Okay, there's just so much stuff in here. The engine has been around for quite a while. A lot of people have worked on it. We'll have to see what happens when we finish this build. Okay, what other exams do we have going on? Yeah.
45.
45. Okay.
Got one full project left to do and an exam.
Brutal. Yeah, 45, as far as I understand, covers a lot of topics. Which makes
project we have to code up a search engine.
Hey, no big deal, right? No big deal. I think we used to have a course. The old EECS440 was construction of a search engine. You'd spend the entire course doing that. Yes, Noah?
There's still a search engine.
Oh, yes, it just it changed its name. Yep. I come in and we came in with EECS440 and we took it for the XR topic, it seems. Okay, anything else? Any other exams going on? How many of you have already ordered a Switch 2? And that is a trick question. Yeah, it's looks cool. Watch the Nintendo Direct. One of these days I'm gonna watch like a mini Direct and my own game's gonna show up. And I'm not even gonna know what's gonna be there. My publisher is currently handling it completely. So I actually haven't been paying much attention to like when they're gonna put it out. Maybe this is irresponsible of me, but I'm working on courses, not games. And so, yes, Ethan? Yep. Oh, yeah. So if you all don't know about this, I do have a game, and I'll actually send you a full copy of the final game. It's been done for a long time. Itch.io, Greek Tragedy. It's kind of a strange game. It's going to be a very old-feeling game. It has a very old vibe. It is a game in which you play as Amy trying to rescue her boyfriend, Kurt, on the right. She's a freshman on campus, and the fraternity, the local fraternity, is kind of gone wild, and they're up to some very bad stuff. And so you have to escape campus, save Kurt, and figure out the mystery as to what happened and what went wrong. Amy is a furry artist, which I want you to know right away. And if you're curious why I made her a furry artist, well, if you want to know why I made her a furry artist, I was inspired by one of my previous artists who worked on one of my other games, and that's a story I can't tell on stream. Okay, so you'll have to ask me about that one a bit later. All right, but it is a survival horror game. It's a very old kind of Resident Evil style of game. Okay, it uses fixed camera angles. So your controls are not relative to the camera. Your controls are relative to the character. And so, for instance, to make Amy walk toward the screen, I'm pressing the up arrow key right now because I want Amy to walk forward relative to where she's looking, okay? But if she turns around, then forward would make her walk back toward the back there, which would not end super well for us, okay? Anyway, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, lots of stuff. There are lots of items in the game. Some of these screenshots are really old. But you can see inventory system stuff. There are lots of puzzles. There's a little bit of combat. Yeah, well, let me know if you play it and if you like it. I think it is a perfectly okay game. I think it's all right. If you're in the mood for this kind of game, I think you might enjoy it. I also think you might not. So my next game will be way better, don't worry. Okay, hey, Visual Studio, how's it going? You are still going, right? If you close the window in the bottom that shows all the stuff getting built, like it builds, right? Right? What's that little icon?
Where's the terminal?
Where's the terminal?
Or your little like build window?
Oh, I never use it. Let's see. Output?
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Look, it's just cruising. Well,
It's compiling stuff.
yeah, we got 30 seconds. The good news is it shouldn't need to recompile that many things once we make a tiny code edit, which we'll try and do. We'll go a little bit over. If you need to leave, you can go ahead and do that. My feelings will not be hurt. Yeah, but if you want to play Greek Tragedy, free demo on itch.io and on Steam. And if you ping me, just send me a DM, I'll send you a version of the final game, which it's something like 6 or 7 hours long. If you want to get the C or B ending, if you want to get the C ending, it's about a 3 to 4 hour game. If you want the B ending, it's like 5 or 6. And if you're crazy and you want the A ending, which is the only one that has the final boss in it, then that's going to take like 10 hours. Anyway, yeah, that's brutal. It's brutal when you're like, oh, this game is fun, but I have to make it 3 or 4 times longer. Like, that period of my life was just a slog. Oh, well. Yes?
Is it on Switch yet, or is that still?
It's running on Switch. Like, the port, as far as I know, the port is basically finished. The publisher is currently localizing it, I think. Nintendo asked for a Japanese localization, which... yeah, I guess it takes a while. Okay, let's create a new project. Godot has launched. Okay, this is Godot that we've built. I'm going to create a new project. Create. Let's see if the editor opens up here and if we can see this wonderful engine. I really want to make a course that just uses Godot top to bottom. I think maybe for the cloud computing and live ops course, Godot will be the client end. So that's a good excuse to use Godot. But then again, we need another excuse to learn Unreal Engine a bit better. EECS 440 handles Unreal, but that's about it. If you look at the output window right now, there we go. Okay, we can see Godot Engine 4.5. Can we search for this? Can we do a global search for this? Okay. No, didn't find anything. Okay, let's try debug adapter server started. Okay, let's try that. Okay, search. Control-Shift-F. Yep. Oh, no, it didn't get the right thing.
That's doing search and file, not global, is it?
Debug adapter server started. Yeah, this is global. Debug. There we are. Here we go. And we got it, okay? This is the weird function call. We got a static function on the editor node class. It's called getLog. And then once you've got the log, editor log object, a pointer to it, you can do add message. Okay, so now a question is, well, where's int main? Where is this thing? Okay, there's int main start. Okay, can we call, how early can we call this function? How early can we call this function? Well, we can actually check. Okay, you know what? I'm actually just going to put it right back in there, right next to the previous one, because we know this one's going to run. Okay, and let's do this. And I'm going to put in here hi EECS498. Okay, and now.
We probably don't need the remote port either.
Yeah, we don't need that. So remove that from the string. Okay, it looks like we might be able to change like how this shows up. Like we could make it an error. Make it an error. Let's do it. See what happens. I don't imagine that would affect anything, but maybe it will. Okay, and let's go ahead, save everything. I'm going to make a build right here. And now we're going to have our own custom version of Godot. Okay, it even says hi to our class. All right, no one's other version of Godot is going to do that. One of my students, one of my graduate students on my Timber research team, my game engine research team, there's a build error. What happened? What? What's this? No way. Are they going to make us rebuild the entire project? Oh, what on earth is this? Ew. I don't think I messed with anything.
Unless adding that one line is causing the build error.
Yeah, that can't be the case. That cannot be the case. But
imagine it is.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. We can try that in a sec if it works out.
Well, that works
is it working? Okay. No, it's not. No, it's definitely not. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back, and then what I'm gonna do. I should probably close Godot, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
maybe that was it.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was probably it. Okay. Gonna go ahead and run the project. Oh. So the thing about Godot is that when you first use Godot, you're used to composition. You're used to having lots of components that you could put scripts on. And Godot at first appears like it doesn't allow this, which is one of the reasons everyone starts Godot and they hate it the first time they use it. But actually, if you know just a tiny bit more about Godot and how to use their node data type, you can recreate Unity like step for step. Okay, it's just a little bit more annoying, but basically, whenever I'm programming in Godot, I just program the exact same way that I program in Unity for the most part. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and open this project right here and see what happens if we see anything in our little output window. Okay, Godot game engine. It's running very slowly because this is the debug version of the engine, right? Okay, so output, and look at that. We have an error right away, wouldn't you know it, and it says, hi, EECS498.0007. Mission complete, okay? You've made your first edit, and now you might go to the Godot GitHub, and you might start looking at issues. You might look in the wiki and try and find things that you can fix easily and submit and do a pull request for. For instance, like fixing typos or something like that. Good way to start and get your confidence up. And stuff like that. Cool. Has anyone ever edited Wikipedia? What's that? Nothing has been accepted. So EECS298 is now featured in multiple places in Wikipedia. That is the power of editing the wiki on occasion. But like having the confidence to edit Wikipedia is not easy, right? Like everyone uses this resource. Are you going to edit it? Are you going to be rejected? There's lots of weird code and markup. One of the best things you can do is just go in and fix typos, okay? Fix small little weird wordings and phrases to kind of build up your confidence, get some karma, and eventually you'll be allowed to edit higher priority and more important articles, and you'll feel more comfortable doing it. You won't draw as much scrutiny and stuff like that. My most famous Wikipedia edit is I found out who Alekbyte was. So the people who made Mugen, and I went and edited them into the Wikipedia article for Mugen, the fighting game engine we studied early on in the course. In any case, give this stuff a try. When you're bored at home, maybe over the summer, okay, you got some downtime, go clone an open source project like Godot and see if you can find any contributions you might make. Over time, a lot of people get sucked in to that kind of thing. They really start to like it, and that's how open source moves forward. And open source is the rock solid foundation that anyone can stand on at any time for free, no cost, okay? So we got to keep that open source engine community going. And this is one way you can look into doing it, all right? Okay, everyone. On Wednesday, we'll have our CMake lecture, which I highly encourage you to attend. It should hopefully kind of be very, very useful, kind of eye-opening tool if you would like to escape from the Xcode mines, okay? Yeah, thank you for coming. For the next 2 hours, I will be here for office hours. But after that, about 8:30, the Linux autograder is going down for good, okay? And so, if you want one more submit for old time's sake, okay, say goodbye. This is your chance to do it, all right? Okay, anyone have any final questions, comments, anything? All right, I'll see you all later. Take care. Okay, everyone in line? I will see you later. Bye-bye.